We're trying something new on the channel. Bear with me, but everything you need Auburn related from this past week coming at you right now.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into this special best of edition of Locked On Auburn. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Let us know what you think about this. I'd love to start rolling these up on Saturday mornings. I figured the bye week might be a good way to start. Several fun conversations throughout the week, all packed into one. Multiple conversations with Darrell Dapprich, with Brian Smith, Chris Gordy of Locked On SEC, and of course, Kyle Rush over at the Barn. All that coming at you right now. Darrell Dapprich hanging out with us on today's edition of Locked On Auburn. Yeah, Xavier Chaplin has been a big part of a lot of the conversations when people are discussing potential changes that Auburn should do moving forward. You referenced a text you got specifically about Chaplin. What? Keep going.
Longtime listener of the show made a point, and he texted me, he said, is the problem with Chaplin the fact that he played against ACC and lesser competition last year and looked so much better? Now that he's playing against the best conference in America, it's showing, the cracks. And that's a really good point. I didn't think about it. I mean, he was excelling against an ACC schedule at Virginia Tech. That's not the same as the SEC. Now, I know you line up. I mean, Reuben Bain plays in the SEC. I mean, there's some dudes, but still, I think night in, night out, you're not seeing the athletes along the defensive front that you are at Oklahoma and Texas A&M when you're playing Duke, North Carolina State, Georgia Tech, Pitt.
Here's where I push back on that. Is it doesn't matter how good they are if you can't stay on sides. That's not an opposition.
That's true. That's true.
Some of the folks we've talked to says communication's not getting there, or like he's not thinking fast enough. I don't think that's an ACC to SEC thing. I'm just being honest with you.
It could be in one aspect of it. This is sad to say, but I would love to go back and see last year what the most hostile stadiums he played in the ACC. As opposed,
you saying because he can't hear?
Yeah, and he's talked about he couldn't hear. He said he couldn't hear. That was absolutely out there and prevalent and known that he could not hear. Now,
man, I'm just watching, after we're done with all of our post-game stuff, but then like Saturday night, you turn on Oregon playing in Penn State, and it's just like,
I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just saying that the ACC, some of the stadia, it's still a deficiency. It's still not acceptable. It's just
such a controllable variable in your practice that, like, okay. Like
I'm not saying that.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
It's still wrong. It still should keep him off the field.
And I'm not saying it's all on Chaplin. I'm saying like whether he's prepared or not is like, I think a lot of this is coaching, and I don't know if I've said it when I've been on with you, but I think the play calling does not help our offensive line at all. I don't think the play calling helps. Can you name one player on the offense where the play calling has benefited? For sure, they're forcing it to Cam and Eric, but like I don't think they're like benefiting from it.
Nope, nobody.
Jackson's not benefiting from it.
Jeremiah,
running backs aren't.
He's not getting enough touches to benefit from it.
No, the offensive line. It's like, all right, we're passing it.
Brandon Frazier,
maybe this past week, sure. This past week, he really benefited. Yeah. So, and maybe Eric is because they're doing different things, but I feel like that would be so much more explosive, potentially explosive, if the threat of the handoff was there. So I don't know. It's just so backwards. It's so strange to me how we've gotten to this point. It's sad. It's very, very sad because once again, like they promised to all these guys come in and help us build something and help us win. And you're not helping them win.
And that's the ironic part is that, again, I would not feel this way if Auburn was 3-2. I expected them to be 3-2. What a difference would it make if Auburn loses that game 35-31? We're talking about a whole different feel up and down the field, moves the ball on offense, is proficient. This is a different conversation we're having on Wednesday.
Is there another school that has now hired, several offensive head coaches, and we just haven't had an offense? Like the last half of Gus, Carson, now Hugh. It's like we want an offense so bad here, and we're just tired of it. I mean, I've never seen the Auburn fan base do this before. We always argue about everything. It's always pretty split down the middle, or maybe it's 70-30, but that 30's loud and valid points. I mean, during like the Harsin drama.
Yeah.
And then when Hugh was hired, there was obviously, I've never seen us this in line after this loss. I've never seen anything like it with this fan base. Have you?
No, and it's the way they lost. It's not that they lost, it's the way they lost. Again, if you lose 35-31, something like that, or it's a whole people will be like, well, A&M's pretty explosive. Defense did their part as long as they could. The way they lost, the absolute embarrassment that Texas San Antonio and another team, Utah State, put triple the amount of yards and points on the board than Auburn did.
Yeah. Darrell, I had so many comments because I haven't really given A&M a ton of credit because I was like, I still don't think their defense is great. And they're like, oh, they held you to 150 yards. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, A&M. And y'all may be great defensively the rest of the way. And I may just be wrong, but I'm not going to take that bet. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think A&M is average defensively when you talk about the top teams in the SEC, or when you talk about teams in the top 10. I think this is going to come back and be like, oh, Auburn, that they should have won that game. Let me tell you something I'm horrified of, and we'll talk about it when we're picking the rest of the season in a second. I already feel it coming, regardless of how the season goes until they play Arkansas, regardless of what happens against Georgia and Missouri. But when the week where we go to Arkansas, what the conversation is going to be. Oh, their defense is terrible. I got a text throughout this past week. Arkansas has got the worst defense in the P4. And I'm like, I'm not pushing back on that. But what if we go to Arkansas and score 14 points? It's like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, just because I think that Baylor's defense is better than Arkansas's, and I know that Oklahoma's is a ton better, and Auburn should have had 24? Well, 17. They had 17 offensively.
He has to run the ball, though, Darrell. I don't think he can do it with Jackson throwing it.
No, he's got to. I would, whatever game plan they used against Baylor, I would go back to that.
I just don't understand how you can't do that. Like at halftime, be like, okay, sorry, Damari, sorry, Jeremiah, sorry, Jackson, sorry, offensive line, sorry, wide receivers. Bad game plan on our part. We're gonna slow this down. We're gonna run it. We're gonna play really good defense.
And they look very
How do you
basic.
not make that change at halftime?
No, I don't know, and I don't know why they look so basic. No eye candy, no movement, none of that. It looks so predictable. That's the other thing that's maddening to me.
Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, you can bet $5. $5. If your first $5 bet hits, you get $300 back in bonus bets. I mean, come on. You unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Futures bets for college basketball just dropped. Auburn has, I believe, the 6th best odds. I think they're plus 1,900 right now on FanDuel to win the SEC regular season. If you're interested in what Stephen Pearl's Tigers can do, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square. Your neighborhood spots run on Square. We love small businesses. It's what makes college towns feel like college towns. It makes what Auburn and the Opelika area have so many great neighborhood spots, small businesses, and Square supports all of them. In fact, Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy to. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, hanging out with us for a few minutes. Let's discuss the case of changing quarterbacks. I know you're pro Deuce Knight, and I was in the camp of doing this immediately after the game. I've since changed my mind the more I've thought about it, but I know you're pro Deuce Knight, and I want to hear your arguments for this.
At minimum, he needs to play some. He's got to get, quote unquote, acclimated. And everybody's going to say, well, it's Georgia. Yeah, but Missouri's defense might be just as good. Like, that's crazy, but it really might be. And there are a lot of other teams in the SEC they're going to have to play, like, oh, Alabama, that have somebody. Kentucky can't score. Is their defense friendly? A little easier, but every team you play, he's going to be at a disadvantage. He's got to go through the meat grinder at some point.
Yeah.
And I know I'm biased because I know the kid, but he's one of the most talented kids that I've ever been around at any year. I've been doing this over 20 years. You got to put him on the field in some capacity because it's just not working for him. At least give him a few series. You're obviously not a playoff team, and that's the only real objective if you're Auburn. Let's be honest. You're building for the future. And it's right now, to me, this is like spring practice. Who's going to be the starting quarterback in 2026? Deuce needs series in every single game at minimum. And if he hits, then he replaces Jackson Arnold. I'm not saying just replace Jackson, but Deuce needs to get at least some series.
Yeah. I mean, especially if that were to happen, I don't know how likely that is to happen, but if it were to happen, I mean, I'm just thinking Georgia, with that crowd, and if he were to run out there, especially like with Cam Newton in attendance, you know how special that would be for that kid? That'd be awesome.
I didn't really think about it that way, but I'm sure Cam will talk to him regardless if he's going to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a nice little added bonus, I suppose. The crowd needs something to be happy about.
Yeah, there'd be something about Deuce getting a moment when you're on the same night you're retiring number 2. There's something to
That's
that.
pretty wild, by the way.
There'd be something poetic about that. I don't know how likely it is, but there'd be something. What a story that could be, right?
Why not? And again, I'm just looking at it long term. Auburn wants to be in the national championship race. Right now, there are light years from it because the passing game is so bad. It just nullifies it.
Counter argument, and I'm putting my Auburn hat on right now. If you beat Georgia, big if you beat Georgia, why can't you beat Missouri? And then once you do that, and you're like, oh, okay, it's still tough, but it gets easier. Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Mercer. If you pull that off, you're what, 9-2 going into the Iron Bowl? It's a big if. You got to fix the offense. And if you tell me that you're running it 10 extra times a game and your play calling makes more sense, like, I don't think that's impossible. Is it unlikely? Sure. Is it impossible?
No.
Then all of a sudden the Iron Bowl becomes like a playoff game.
That's technically true, but I still go back to the same thing.
It's a big leap. It's a big leap, but
I just don't think Jackson can make enough reads after the snap. I don't think he's comfortable past read.
Do you think Hugh Freeze could call an offense where Jackson doesn't have to make as many reads?
100%. Every coach.
Do you think he will?
No.
No shot.
You know why? This is not just a Hugh Freeze thing. You know who the most stubborn people on planet Earth are?
Football coaches? That
would be the correct answer. They would rather lose than have somebody do it a different way. Like, they are that stubborn. It's unbelievable. That's not a Hugh Freeze thing. I know coaches everywhere. They are the most ridiculous, hard-headed people I've ever met. There are very few that adjust very much.
Do you think there's a chance that they run it more on early downs?
I think that will be kind of obvious that they have to, because Georgia, I mean, obviously they've got talent everywhere. In their last game against Bama, they had 8 different 5-stars with 25 or more snaps. That's insanity. They still can't rush the passer, though, which is hilarious.
That is wild.
I was talking to a few people about that. It's like, how is this possible? But anyway, Auburn, if they're not able to throw against UGA, they should stop the season. Like, they can't rush the passer. They've got good DBs, but I don't care if you got Dion reincarnated at some point. You've got
Well,
3
there's
minutes
not a
left.
whole lot of. I mean, as Aaron Murray did a great job of like showing. Doesn't seem like communication as far as who's getting who makes a ton of sense. So like if I'm playing Auburn, I'm stunting the heck out of the defensive
absolutely.
front.
That's the one thing. Their linebacker coach / coordinator, he's as technical as it gets, just basic, but they're big guy. They don't have the 6'4", 250 guy on the edge anymore.
Yeah.
That guy, ironically, Damon Wilson, that's who it is. He transferred to Missouri. You'll hate him the next week. But they don't have it at UG. It's hilarious. He did. That guy is not there. You're not going to just run it every time, but you're going to have more success putting yourself in 3rd and 5 than you are 3rd and 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. And Jackson is annoying as all get out as a runner. 3rd and 5, if you do not spy the quarterback, he's no fun. Because that's 220 pounds of muscle coming to, he has no fear. Him and Gunnar Stockton are the same guy mentality-wise.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, Jackson's got an extra gear than I think most people realize. We saw it against Baylor. We got to get back to that. We got to get back to that.
They could beat Georgia, but they need a special play in the passing game. And do you trust him to make that at some point? I can see him running for $150.
All right, now.
But you got to throw for 225 or something like that.
Well, there's just no confidence to throw like a 50-50 ball to Cam. And that, I think, needs to be part of this.
My mom can throw a 50-50 ball to Cam. Like, for the love of God, he's a condor.
He's just so afraid to turn it over, I guess, is what's happening. Everything's just a little bit too slow. Like everything's always a step behind, and then you've got a potential
open,
out.
Yeah, exactly. He waits till the guy's wide open, then throws it. It's too late. Like, you got to see it. Like, he doesn't trust his own eyes, and that's the other reason I think Deuce should play at least a few series.
Yeah, I don't think you can fix that once the season starts. I think that's just kind of who you are at this point.
I agree.
Today's show brought to you by our friends at Peloton. All right. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching that actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, corrects your form, makes every rep safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. The Auburn basketball team, the roster staying put. Everybody's coming back. No one's entering the portal. And there was some panic for a few minutes there. But I don't know how much of it was just, Auburn guys wanting to stay. I don't know how much of it was Stephen Pearl convincing them or how much they believe in Stephen Pearl. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a win for Stephen Pearl. It's a win for Auburn basketball. Mainly, with Tahad Pettiford and Keyshawn Hall saying, "Hey, yeah, we're staying at Auburn."
So, upon the announcement of Stephen Pearl being named head coach, I had two initial concerns. Number one was experience, right? Could he take a major program to where it needed to be without any head coaching experience? I have really come around and have put that to bed with a lot of the things I've heard from national people that have praised him and also basketball analysts in the know that said, hey, don't fool yourself. For the last couple of years, a lot of what you saw on the court was Stephen Pearl. Game plan, X's and O's, recruiting. And now, and especially watching him at a press conference, how articulate he is, I think the program is in really good hands. The second concern I had was people that specifically signed to play for Bruce Pearl, who's a legend, would, even though Stephen Pearl was on that staff, would they enter the portal because they wanted to play for Bruce Pearl and not Stephen Pearl and feel like that they got blindsided by this? And there was, let's be transparent, there was legitimate smoke chatter that was going on behind the scenes with a couple of the players you mentioned, some concerns, some meetings with coaching staff, some missing of practices, whatever, and then panic sets in. But all in all, behind the scenes, Auburn and Stephen Pearl was doing exactly what they needed to do to retain this roster. And I'm telling you, it's kind of weird This roster and this first roster for Stephen Pearl fits him like a glove. I actually like this roster for a Stephen Pearl coach team almost better than I do a Bruce Pearl coach team who has the last couple of years went defense first, slowed some things down, played 10 players. Stephen Pearl himself said, offensively, we're ahead of the curve. We can shoot it. We're electric in the open court, transition. I worry about defense. He said, we've got to press more. We've got to switch more. We're not as big. Okay, I get all that. But up-tempo really seems to be his strength, and he seems to be really excited to coach a squad that's young and that runs. This is more his DNA, I think, than his dad's.
Yeah, and how much of that was by design, I don't know. Like in real time, we were talking about the portal stuff. It's just like you didn't have a big that was anywhere close to what Janai Broome offered for you the last few seasons. Was this by design? Did they know or have an idea of a possibility? I don't know. But we talked about how different this team is going to be than last year's team and several teams. It's going to be more like Auburn's first Final Four team than Auburn's second Final Four team, which we all knew was going into it. And Stephen Pearl being the lead man now, like, yeah, okay. I think there is a match there. I agree with that.
One thing that I'm really interested in, I think this team is going to be very, very high scoring. You're going to see some games in the 90s, 80s. It's going to be fun, but you're going to have to outscore folks unless they come around defensively. Yeah. One of the things I want to see if he's different than his father is, you know how Bruce gave guys just free reign to keep shooting threes and be you and do what you want to do. I wonder if Stephen's going to be the same way. I wonder if like Auburn's like 5 of 30 from shooting the threes, if he's letting guys go out there and still chuck up threes, or is he going to be like, hey, let's rein it in. This is, we're getting 3-footers and 4-footers and we're taking 20-footers. That will be very telling and interesting for me to see how he handles that.
Yeah. I mean, my response to that is like, who's that guy? Who's that guy that steps up? Like last year, it drove me crazy when that would happen. I'm like, give it to Janai. Let him work inside. Who's that guy that can consistently get you to the rim? Yeah, I think this could be a time where like maybe Kevin Overton steps up and could be one of those guys. I mean, we've seen Tahad be able to slash and get there.
Hall can slash and get to the rim. He's very dynamic. And that's the thing. Getting to the rim might look differently this year than getting to the rim did last year. Right? Alley-oops, posting up, being in the block. It may be slashing with your, facing the basket as opposed to sideways or back to the basket. So, yeah, Hall can get to the rim. Pettiford can get to the rim. Overton, you're right. Murphy's more of a big, the guy from Mississippi State. He's kind of a post space eater. But I'm telling you, who can get to the rim is the European dude. Jokic can get to the rim. And that Joker is very, very dynamic and very astute and physical. He's used to playing European basketball. He's 21 years old. Yeah. He's a man. And he uses his body to get to the rim very effectively. I can't wait to watch him play. I think he is going to be – everyone wants to talk about Pettiford and Hall, and I get it. I get that and the excitement of that. Jokic may be your guy that is your glue guy that ends up being the one that ends up being the one on the team that you have to count on, your most valuable player type dude.
Right. And, the Bruce Pearl era had a lot of those guys. He could be the first one of the Stephen Pearl era. That'd be awesome. But yeah, hats off to Stephen Pearl for keeping the roster together. Because like you could have lost a few of them, but I think you could recover. But there were a few guys that like the roster's built around. And I thought it was great. I thought that was a great report that came out that they told the team that they are staying. But Chris Gordy, host of Locked On SEC, hanging out with us. The road ahead is tough. The road behind you has been tough, but the opportunity to get things right is certainly on the table. If Auburn beats Georgia coming off of a bye week, Georgia coming off of Alabama, and then they play Kentucky, which that game's always super close for some reason, it feels like. You get them at home. It's Cam Newton retirement jersey night. That's a big deal. There's something about Auburn when Cam Newton's in the stadium, Auburn doesn't lose. If you win that, everybody just kind of takes a collective breath and it's like, oh, okay. All right. Well, if we can beat Georgia, we beat Missouri. If we can beat Missouri, we can beat Arkansas. If we can beat those teams, we can beat Vanderbilt. And all of a sudden, the Iron Bowl becomes super, super important. I'm not saying that's likely, but there is a path to all of this kind of being okay.
Yeah, the crazy part to think, Zach, is, and I'm with you. As soon as they announced Cam Newton retirement ceremony is the Georgia game, I said, "Oh, that is going to be that crowd is going to be electric." Insane. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers doing Brock Bauer things 2 years ago, Auburn was in that game till the fourth quarter. I mean, they had a chance. So the defense is going to give you a chance. Gunnar Stockton's been pretty good so far, but Bama, I thought, kind of exposed them as they're still trying to figure out how to run the ball consistently. The offensive line is not protecting very well. So Georgia's got some warts there. And defensively, they're not as stout as they once were. Alabama was, I mean, Ty Simpson was having his way with them in that first half. So Georgia certainly got some weaknesses. And think about this, Zach. Mizzou on October 18th, that is their first road game of the season. October 18th. We're almost to Halloween, and Mizzou will have not left their stadium yet. They got
Is that true?
Yeah, their whole first slate of games was at home.
Wow.
Including Alabama. That'll be coming up on the 11th. But
so that'll be Bo Pribula's first road start.
Yeah. Mizzou, 4 of their last 6 games are all on the road. So
wow.
I know we're hyping up Mizzou, but who have they beaten? Kansas, South Carolina, UMass. I mean, look, Mizzou's looked great. Ahmad Hardy's been awesome, 100 yards rushing every game so far, but this reeks a little bit of overhype. Again, I go back to who have you played? If Auburn had played Mizzou's schedule so far, Auburn would be undefeated. Like, I don't know how to keep stressing this. Like, we freak out over losses, but understand, look at the teams who've played nobodies. Like, we got to expose the people who've played nobody so far. So, again, this is doable for Auburn. And I'll just say it. Yeah, you have to beat Arkansas on the road with no coach. I mean, they're a mess. That defense is god awful.
It's really bad.
Kentucky is a mess. They can't do anything well. They run the football okay. Defense not very good. Quarterback stinks. And then that Vandy game, like I said, where is Vandy when you get to that? I just think there is a case. And look, the problem is, can they go 5-0 in the next 5? Yes. But if you go 4-1, it just kind of sucks because having that third loss, what are you really playing for? You go into the Iron Bowl going, well, guys, we win this, we're going Outback Bowl. You know, I mean, like, that's where it kind of becomes, what are you doing? Because we've conditioned ourselves now to be playoff or bust. And then the question will become, at 9-3, if they do that, does Auburn have a good enough resume to get in? Now, look, if Alabama's still a top 10 team and they beat them in the Iron Bowl, maybe that's enough of a resume win to bump them up and go.
And what happens if Oklahoma keeps doing what they're doing, assuming they can hold serve with John Mateers out, and A&M continues to be a top 10 team, and Georgia makes the postseason? It's like, well, if those are your 3 losses all in a row and you beat everybody else, like,
the problem.
I'm not saying they get in, but like, there's an argument.
The problem becomes you're going to have probably 2 or 3, 11-1, 10-2 teams from the SEC, and then a whole hodgepodge of 9-3s. And where does Auburn fall in the pecking order in that? So that's where, it kind of really gets, then you really start comparing resumes.
You're right.
It'd be great if Baylor wanted to run them wins and make that non-conference win look a little bit better.
Yeah, that would have been nice. That looked really good after they beat SMU, but I don't know how good all those teams are over there. So we'll see. We'll see. This has been way more positive from you than I expected. I'm not gonna lie.
Because again, like, I think we need to take our step back sometimes and go, what have they done? And what would anybody else have done in this scenario? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying the offenses look great. We know it does not look great. I thought Arnold would look a lot better. But now you come back home in the friendly confines, I say, and I'll pose this question: who's Auburn's best player, Zach, on offense?
So far this year, it's probably been Eric Singleton.
Okay, him and Cam Coleman, get the ball into their hands and let's go. What are we doing here? Like, and if it's a time of, we don't have the time, we didn't have the protection to get it downfield, run some short crossers, man. Get some kind of motion. Run some screens. Get something going where you can get the ball to your best playmaker.
Or run a screen on first down. Don't run it when it's 3rd and 18 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, everybody always thinks like big play, Cam Coleman, Erickson, we got to push it. We got to push it down the field. You don't need the 50-yard bombs. Give me the quick, the 5-yard pass that turns into a 50-yard pass because these guys have breakaway speed.
Right.
And again, I just think I think the word is execution. They will execute much better at home. They have to.
Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. I want to scoot back to the offensive line conversation because I think there's a few options. One, I think you have to try Too Tall at left tackle. I also think you have to try Dylan Wade at left tackle. And then I think there's a few options at guard. DeAndre Carter comes to mind. Heck, I wouldn't mind seeing Kel Ellis get a shot at guard with the little bit that we saw of him against Oklahoma. I also think it would make sense to put Mason Murphy at one of the guard spots, to put Too Tall at right tackle, even though Mason Murphy's actually been pretty solid. I don't know if I want to really touch that, but you have options.
Yeah.
And to act like you don't have options just because you paid him so much in NIL money, I think would be silly. I also think it sends a message culturally when you allow that to keep happening with one of your like quote unquote best preseason players continuing to jump off sides, continuing to hold, continuing to fail in pass protection, and you keep putting him on the field. I think that sends the wrong message, and I think they need to adjust that quickly.
The only pushback I would even have is, could there be some sort of communication breakdown? Because it seems like left tackle has been an issue. Like there seems to be communication issues at left tackle in this system. Is there something you can do to, whether it be changing the way you do your snap count or whatever, that could maybe, is he thinking too much because whatever is happening isn't making sense versus reacting? Because it's just hard to fathom to me that he can be a bad offensive, like he's worse. It's hard for me to fathom that he came from Virginia Tech to Auburn and got worse. But to your point, not a lot of the others seem to have the communication issues that he has. And he's your big money guy. So I understand what you're saying. Sometimes I wonder, are we doing all we need to be doing on the offensive line to put them in successful situations? There was a play on, I was on Auburn's message board where on three's message board and looking at Cole Pinkston breaking down a play and looking to where we slid protection to the wrong side, like away from pressure, and made it to where it was much harder. Like those are the kind of things it's all a mess. And I don't know if simply just plugging in a new player solves some of that.
Yeah.
But you got to try.
You got to try. And I don't know if you like roll it out and start somebody new, but during this week, like you said, when practices are closed, like try different alignments. Let Chaplin feel it.
Yeah.
Let him feel like you're not guaranteed this. You're not playing good enough. And because of that, we're going to explore other options, see if somebody can do this better than you.
I would like to see, I think Cale Ellis at center and letting Lou play guard could be something that would be maybe fun to watch, because Lou's really, really good. I think Lou's really, really good. And I don't really want to take him off but Cale may only be able to do, center right now because he's so young and that's what he's been, training to do. Regardless, there's talent there. You got to find the right five.
I think the easiest adjustment would be for Hugh to say, hey, what we're doing isn't working. And I don't know if it's my offense doesn't work anymore, or if I'm not teaching it well, or I'm trying to be an offensive coordinator, but I'm not willing to like do the meetings and the things that an offensive coordinator requires right now. And so I've got to change some of that. Would you be comfortable with Ken Austin calling plays?
I honestly think that's probably the best scenario. And I know people
I agree with you.
People are going to laugh at that and people are going to roll their eyes. I just think about that 2-minute. Think about the 2-minute drills, the last two games. It just, there's just so much to being a head coach, man, that you have to pay attention to. You're trying to come up with a drive to go win the game and manage the clock and manage your timeouts and manage personnel all at the same time. Like, I wonder if Kent is the one that's Kent and Derek are putting together the offense, and they're coming up with a scheme to attack the defense. Like, what would it look like if they actually called the plays? If Kent actually called those plays, he's called plays before. Would you see less of a disconnect? I don't know, but that I would honestly like to maybe even see that. I would like to see that change.
I would like to see that as well. I think it's very unlikely that happens, but I think that would go a long way with the fan base that you're destroying, like that you're just like really putting through it right now, where it's like, oh, okay, like we've seen his stubbornness on the field with not wanting to adjust. This is big. This is a big opportunity, and let's just see what happens. We've heard for years how great Ken Austin is, and like, let's see it. Because like everyone I talk to loves Ken Austin and talk about how brilliant he is. I would love to see it.
Here's something too. I think if somehow you do that and it works, like it works well to where you can maybe limp to 7 or 8 wins, and you can come after the season say we've reevaluated the way we're doing offense, and maybe I'm not going with Kent, but I've discovered that it's just I
got to hire an offensive coordinator.
I'm much more efficient as a CEO than I am trying to juggle all these balls and call the plays. I think it would go a long way with what you're talking about with the fan base.
Yeah.
Am I crazy on that?
Nope, I don't think you are at all. I think the fan base wants to see something different because you've tried the same thing now for, I guess, going on year 3, and it's just not. Year 1 and year 2 was different. The offensive coordinator situation was different, but still, like the core of it, there was still drama on all of it. So
sure,
yeah, I would love to see some sort of lack of stubbornness or almost humility when it comes to the offense, because it's not working. It's
the
not
CEO
working.
Stuff he's good at too.
He's a good recruiter. I think he's good at hiring when he has the right focus on it.
They've built that off the field staff into like an actual organization versus just having dudes with random titles. Like it's a really good, it's good stuff, man. Like they're able to bring in the players and put them, get you the talent that you need. Like it's just so many balls.
The offensive game plan doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yep. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know whether you're watching on video, listen to it on audio, subscribe however you consumed it, and let me know what you thought of it. And if we could adjust it in any way to say, I like it, but I'm open to it. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.